Jack Berry, and I'm here at Miles of Golf in Ypsilanti with Tom Harding, one of the top players that's ever been produced here in Michigan. Is now a new member of the Michigan Golf Hall of Fame, and Tom has played out on the tours, and he has been a sensational instructor at a number of the top spots around the state. Meadowbrook was one of them, and over in the west side,
Egypt Valley.
Egypt Valley.
Yeah.
And now at Miles of Golf, where you've got an all-star cast of instructors.
That's true. Oh, yeah, we do. We got a great group.
Tom, give us a little of your background, where you were born, and we don't have to do it all play-by-play, but let's hit the high spots.
The high spots. I grew up in Kalamazoo over there. I went to Gull Lake High School. Played a bunch of sports there, football, baseball, tennis and stuff, a little bit of hockey. I played golf for fun. My parents were really good golfers, and so they always kept me into it. And then graduated high school and went to Michigan State to try to do some baseball, I thought, and that didn't work out my freshman year. So then I walked on.
What position were you?
I was a pitcher, third base and pitcher. And then I went to Michigan State, and didn't work out my freshman year. So then I went to Bruce Fossum, the golf coach there, and they said, "Hey, Bruce, you don't know who I am, but I want to be on the golf team." And he looked at me pretty crazy. And he says, "Well, why don't you go work on your game and come back in a year?" And I did, and I shot a couple low 70s in the walk-on, and he kept me. And I always kid to him, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for him, because he kept me on the team. And then, lo and behold, a couple years later, I finished third in the Big Ten championship. I got a scholarship my last 3 years going to Michigan State. And then I went out on the Pro Tour. I played the Canadian Tour 3 years, won the Canadian PGA 1 year. I did the Asian Tour for a couple years, had a lot of success out there, and had a great time. I tried to get on the PGA Tour, probably went to 6-7 times, went to tour school. I made it to the finals twice, but just didn't get those couple putts to go in when I needed them to go in. And then I decided I still liked golf, and so I got to keep playing, but then I got into the club pro side. And a friend of mine, Don Underwood, was the pro at Grand Valley. And I remember I sent him a resume, and he goes, "Do you really want to do this? You really want to get in this business?" And I go, "I've got to do it." And so he hired me and went there, and then I was there 1 year, and then Lynn Jansen was nice enough. He took me out to Egypt Valley for 3 years. I had a good time there, did a lot of teaching and good stuff there. And then I went over to Meadowbrook Country Club in Northville for 5 years with Mark Stevens, and he helped me out there, and that was a lot of fun there. Met a lot of great people. And then one day I got talking to Dave Kendall sort of out of the blue, and he says, "Well, if you really want to teach or something, I'll take you here." And I had 3 daughters coming along at that time, and I needed maybe a little bit more freedom and more self-employed stuff. And so Dave took me on, and now 15 years later, I'm here still at Miles of Golf working for Dave Kendall.
Well, Dave started 21 years ago here, and I think he was kind of by himself at first, but now there are 9 of you all together here, so you must be all busy, and obviously you're doing good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think I was just talking to one of my lessons yesterday. They didn't really know much about us, and I'm like, there's not another facility in Michigan that has this big of an academy, this many quality teachers that we all can play. We're all good players. And we have a club fitting, we have merchandise here, we've got everything here. We've got simulators, and then what other people don't realize is that you go down at the under end of our range, we have a couple acres of a short game area, chipping and putting. And so, yeah, we're one of the best facilities, not just in Michigan, but in the country, really. Just because you don't have the land, people to do it, so we're sort of winning by default. There aren't many of us left, but we're very proud of our facility.
You have the club. Come on, give me the right name of that thing. The Clubatorium. Come on.
Clubatorium, right? The club fitting. Yeah. They were really, I think, they were definitely the first ones in our area that realized, how important that club fitting is, and that just took off. That's been just a gem of a merchandise deal and a product for everything, and it costs a little bit to do it, but people are getting the right club.
Okay, Tom. Now, this will be the toughest lesson that you've ever had to give. Right. Try and get me to swing semi-decently.
All right. Well, we'll take a look at you. It's never as bad as you think. We'll do all right for you. We'll be all right.
All easy.
if you hit a good 7-iron, how far is it going to go?
About 100 yards.
Okay. You know, then I come over here, you know, and I'm going to do a face-on view here. You know, it's sort of fun for people to see. And then I like to put some lines up. I'll put one on your right hip, sort of like this. Then I put one sort of on your left hip. And then I'll put a couple around your head here to see if you're moving around. And then I'm like, I just want to see what you do in your backswing. I'd like you to stay in that yellow shaded area, okay?
Okay.
If you move your head out a little bit, that's fine. So, okay, so now we're going back here. Here we go up to the top. And there you are, all right?
Yeah.
So you can see you stay in the yellow shaded area in between the lines. Now, we just like you turn your hips just a little bit more. Now, I wouldn't mind if your left heel lifted up a little bit. You know, Phil Mickelson does that, Jack Nicklaus does it, right? You know, because obviously as we get older, it's tougher to turn. So, but it starts with your lower body. So if the heel comes up a little bit, then I can get your hips to turn, and then your shoulders are going to turn a little bit more. So then I'll put a little X right here. I just sort of put an X there. I'm going to see, you know your hip's supposed to go this way, right?
Yeah.
You know you're supposed to go that way. So let's see if we get to that X. We're going. We don't quite get there. And then we just sort of hit with our hands there, not much turning through. And then there we go to our finish. So I throw another person up here real quick. I'll put up Grant Wade. Grant played on the senior tour last couple of years. Great player. So if I just give him a little X, you know, it just gives something that you can see where the hip goes. See how he goes?
Yeah.
Just see how that weight really gets back to that left side. So if we're going to try to hit draws, because your shot was a little bit of a slice, a little bit, it always poofs a little bit to the right for you. So if I can get you just to wind up just a little more, and then get that bumping, that hip going a little bit more through that left side, because I can see you're trying to turn your left hand over. You're trying.
Yeah.
We got to do a little bit more. And then also your head needs to come up. See, you're still looking down quite a bit. If I let you go with Grant, see how Grant wait right there?
Yeah.
Look at his head. He's looking out there.
Yeah.
You can see you're still looking down. So I need everything to go. Not just to release your hands. You got to release your whole body, your head. Everything's got to go through. And I guarantee you're going to hit a little bit farther. So now if I look from this angle here, all right, so now we're just aiming straight away. I like to put up a swing plane line. And then we just put a little bit here, see if you're really jumping up or anything. So when you go back, I'd like to see your club sort of go up that yellow line. That's great. That's fine right there. Okay, there we are at the top. But I can just tell from here, it might be a little bit steep coming down. So I'll compare you to who everybody was cheering for last week.
Patrick.
Jordan Spieth here.
Jordan, yeah.
Right? Yeah. I don't know if everybody was cheering for Patrick Reed.
Not many.
But he's a good guy. But everybody wanted Jordan or Ricky, didn't
Right.
they? So, all right, so here goes Jordan Spieth back up to the top. And then here you are at the top. Okay, so right now, we don't know who played the Masters last week, do we? It looked pretty similar, right? Mm-hmm. You can't tell. You can't tell who shot 64 right now. But unfortunately, I'm going to wind this down, and we're going to be able to tell a little difference, right? Here's Jordan unwinding his lower body, and he's coming down with that shaft. And if you'll notice, I'm going to put a red line up here on his forearm there, right? That shaft, all good players. Rory, Adam Scott, doesn't matter. They're going to. It's pretty much for drawing that golf ball. A power shot's going to come down there. All right, so now do you think yours is going to come down your right arm? Well, no. You're on the left arm, right? So you're up here.
Yeah.
You're right there. So it doesn't matter if you do turn your hands over hard. You'll hit really solid shots, but you're going to take out somebody in the left fairway or left side of the fairway, right? Because your plane is coming down too steep. So, and this is what, as instructors, we see probably 80% of the day. It's just how much people come over the top and they pull in.
Yeah.
And then you can see going through, you can see right there, your club face is still open right there. That's still open, and even there, that's open. So now, here comes Jordan Spieth rotating around, And he doesn't rotate a lot, his forearms, but you can see he definitely does that more than you. You can see that that's turned over more.
Wait.
So, I have a clock system I like to use. You know, so if I like to say this is 12 o'clock, here's 6 o'clock, 3, and there you're standing at 9 o'clock, right? You're standing at 9. Here I'm going to put a yellow. There's 1, there's 7, right? And then the bad, as we say, is going to be 5 and 11. All right, I'm skipping a few numbers we don't need. Okay, so this is just on the downswing I'm talking about. I want you to try to drop that club at around 7 o'clock and swing out to 1. Most people go 5 to 11. So your club's coming over to 5, and then you pull across to 11.
Yeah.
I need you going 7 to 1 that way. Then, as you're working your forearms over, we'll hit the ball probably 10 to 15 yards further, and you'll be able